Sister Anne's Hands by Mary Beth Levinsky, illustrated by K. Wendy Pop. The summer I turned 7, flowers had power, peace signs were in, and we watched the Ed Sullivan Show every Sunday night. That's the summer word went around that a new teacher had come to town. One night, after I'd been put to bed, Mom said in a whisper, "She'll be Anna's teacher." Dad replied, "I don't know how a woman of her color is going to survive." Of her color? I wondered. What color could she be? Purple? Green? Orange? That night my dreams were full of teachers as colorful as birds. Finally, the day came when I walked down the hall to my new room and saw her. She had on a black dress and veil like the other nuns, but her skin was darker than any person I'd ever known. "And who are you, child?" she said, with sparkles in her voice. "Anna Zborski," I said, seeing she had a space between her teeth, just like me. "Mighty fine freckles you have," she said, smiling widely. "Anyone kissed by angels as much as you must have wings sprouting for sure." Well, let me tell you, no one never connected me with angels before. I was the one they sent to the hall for talking in class, or the principal for mouthing off. When she reached out to touch my cheek, I dodged her hands as if they were hot. But it was puppy brown with white lacy moons for nails, and palm side up it was pink with dark lines. A light, pretty pink, like an evening dress for Barbie. I tried not to stare. She didn't seem to notice. "Welcome to 2nd grade. I'm Sister Anne." To start class, Sister Anne had to tell us some of our very best jokes, even the nun ones like, "What's black and white, and black and white, and black and white?" "A nun rolling down the stairs." And she read to us at story time. She did all the voices, low or high or grunting. And then she taught us to count buttons on our clothes, pencils in our desk, and teeth in our heads. After all that adding and subtracting, we ended up toothless, pencil-rich, and with buttons on our underwear. I'd never had so much fun in school. But after lunch, a paper airplane sailed past Sister's head and hit the blackboard. Whoosh! There was a note written on the wings. Sister Anne read it out loud. "Roses are red, violets are blue. Don't let Sister Anne get any black on you." A few giggles rippled across the room. Sister's face froze like a tongue on an icy post. "This is funny?" she asked us softly. We didn't say a thing. I felt as guilty as if I had made the airplane. "I'll need some quiet time to think about this, if you know what I mean." We did. You could have heard a butterfly sigh for the rest of that day. We went home with plenty on our minds. That night in my bed, all I could see was Sister Anne's hand as she reached out to me. The next morning, we all slunk back into the classroom, and we were shocked at what we saw. Sister Anne had plastered the room with pictures of black people, poor or dying, some hanging from trees, others shot and bleeding. We saw signs over water fountains saying, "Whites only," and people marching with posters, "Go back to Africa." None of us knew what to say. "These are the colors of hatred," Sister Anne said. "Do you know how they feel? In some places, if you had to go to the bathroom and the only toilet not being used was the one for colored people, you'd have to hold it or go behind a tree. That all had us all squirming in our seats. Then she seemed to warm up to us a little. One thing you're going to learn is that some folks have their hearts open, wide open, and others are as tight as a fist. The tighter they are, the more dangerous. For me, I'd rather open my door enough to let everyone in than risk slamming it shut on God's big toe. All of a sudden I could see this big toenail hanging out of the clouds, and I wanted to laugh. It was clear. Sister Ann was giving us another chance. Now, she said, I was sent here to teach, and that's what I'm going to do. And she did. Some kids were pulled from her class by their parents, but we didn't miss them much. Sister Ann taught us to write and paint and garden. She had us singing and clamping and stomping our feet while learning our 2 + 12 and 6 - 3. She took us to the library to visit islands and ocean countries across the sea. She taught us about people we'd never heard of before, like Phyllis Whitley, Matthew Henson, and Sojourner Truth. There was this minister she liked too, Dr. Martin Luther King, who was sometimes on the television news. She said he was trying to help people of different colors get along. The years zoomed by so fast I could hardly believe it. On the last day of school, Sister Ann gave us the bad news. She wouldn't be coming back. She had been transferred to a school in Chicago. When it came time to say goodbye, I stuck around till everybody else was gone. Then I pulled out a card I'd made for her. Inside were 2 hands, one white with orange polka dots, and the other filled with browns and pinks and white. Sister Ann just stared at the card for a long time. She didn't say anything, but her eyes got kind of watery. Finally she smiled and touched my face. Looks like my little Anna Angel is learning how to use her wings. I never heard what happened to Sister Ann after she left Chicago, but I do know what happened to me. Now whenever I draw someone's hands or big toes, I fill them in with browns and pinks and whites, reds and yellows and blues, polka dots, circles, and stripes.